Many of you pointed out in my Not Funny Tim Bradley Headbutt April Fool's video that the true original master of the accidental headbutt was Evander Holyfield. Now you have to forgive me, a lot of Holyfield's best fights were either before I was born or shortly after, so I haven't actually sat down and watched a lot of his fights. Calm down, calm down. To make up for it, here's a quick film study on Evander Holyfield's amazing headbutts to satisfy you boomers. Okay, too far? So the first thing I want to talk about is how Holyfield landed multiple beautiful headbutts in his infamous rematch against Mike Tyson. So we see Tyson pressure Holyfield back and then starts his offense off by shooting a jab, but this jab is just to start his offense, and this jab is really used to bait a counter for Tyson to roll under so he could counter the counter attempt, and this is how he usually gets his offense started and lands the big shots. However, Holyfield knows this and he has a good answer for this. So Holyfield knows Tyson is going to roll under after this jab to counter any kind of counter attempt from Holyfield. So instead of countering, Holyfield instead ducks with Tyson in order to meet him with his head. You notice on this headbutt form that Holyfield's head is down so that he strikes with the hardest part of his diamond hard dome. And so Holyfield doesn't get penalized for this because he's striking downward with his head. Compare this to Victor Ortiz, who strikes upwards with his head, gets punished for it. And you notice Holyfield strikes down, doesn't get punished, and Ortiz strikes upward, then gets penalized. So you notice that when Holyfield strikes downward, he could play it off as him just trying to work on the inside and smother Tyson. And you notice this headbutt really cuts Tyson really bad. As you can see here, Tyson gets cut while Holyfield is left completely unscathed. So next I want to talk about a common trap in boxing of stepping back to walk an aggressive opponent into a punch. The idea is to take a step back to bait your opponent to step forward, and once they step forward, you launch your attack before they're able to reset their feet. And the main idea is to attack with a punch, but Holyfield instead uses this to set up another headbutt on Tyson.
First round, here's round two. It's due, of course, to go 12.
So Holyfield sees Tyson step forward and he steps back to lure Tyson in. So you see Holyfield stops just as Tyson is still moving forward. Since Holyfield stops first, he's able to get his feet set for an attack before Tyson can. And so Holyfield can now spring the trap and launch an attack on Tyson, who still doesn't have his feet set. And then bam, there you see another headbutt from Holyfield, and he could have walked Tyson into a right hand, but instead he throws a headbutt because that could potentially cut Tyson over his other eye and definitely piss him off more.
First round, here's round two. It's due, of course, to go 12.
So a lot of you jokers also mentioned that Bernard Hopkins also uses a lot of headbutting tactics in his fights, so I find it rather fitting to include a clip of him using the same exact trap that Holyfield just used on Tyson to line up a right hand against Felix Trinidad. So you see Hopkins steps back to draw Felix Trinidad in, and as soon as Trinidad steps forward, Hopkins launches that right hand. Here you see it again, he steps back, Trinidad steps forward, and you see the right hand. And you see the same thing from Holyfield. Holyfield steps back as Tyson comes in, then he stops and hits Tyson with the headbutt. And you see Manny Pacquiao actually does the same thing to Miguel Cotto. Notice Pacquiao steps back as Cotto's stepping forward, hits him with a right hook, left uppercut combination. But you see Pacquiao sets this up by first attacking Cotto. Pacquiao gets Cotto aggressive, and as soon as Cotto steps forward, Pacquiao steps back, right hook, left uppercut.
First round, here's round two.
Holyfield was also a master at disguising headbutts while working on the inside. Notice here against Hasim Rahman, he throws a right hand and then continues his momentum with his head in order to land a headbutt. And so he doesn't get penalized because he's able to disguise this headbutt as him just following through with his punch. We see it again there, he throws a hook and then bam, clash of heads. And you notice that his head is down, so he strikes Rahman with the hardest part of his forehead, really stuns Rahman and causes a big hematoma over his head, which I would probably get demonetized for if I even showed it. Now I'm not going to lie to you guys, I'm not going to beat around the meat, but this is definitely my favorite clip of the bunch. Holyfield steps in leading with his head down like a bull to land a clean headbutt on the chin, but before Michael Dokes can even complain about it, Holyfield punches him right in the cock. Now Dokes is left confused if he should complain about the headbutt or the low blow, and this double whammy confusion caused by Holyfield is a clever technique to throw Michael Dokes off of his game plan. Here you see it again. You're going to see Holyfield lean in with his head, land the headbutt, and at the same time just throw a punch right to the balls. And so this is a little excessive from Holyfield. And if you're going to be playing dirty like this as much as he is, then the only downside of it is that you actually leave your ear open to be bitten off. So you better be prepared for that. Did you actually make it to the end of the video? Well, I'd like to have you know that this video was inspired by this dank looking meme I came across. Sometimes I don't put the most thought into perfectly constructing every idea I talk about, and sometimes you guys roast me over the smallest details. Well, subscribe to my channel for more opportunities to roast me. See you all next time.